Okay, so this next skills video is going to be how we can go about calculating the range and the interquartile range from a spreadsheet. Now, these are useful whenever we're considering kind of large data sets because they tell us about the clustering of the data or how well it's distributed. If we've got, it also kind of helps us identify any kind of clear and obvious outliers, particularly interquartile range, so that we can consider whether or not anomalies are having a kind of a huge influence over the overall data. So to do this again, I've already set up a new sheet here, which we're going to be using here. I'm just going to set up a very quick new table into this. It's going to make my life a lot easier later on. So first of all, I'm going to put the different countries. So we've got USA, Haiti, Japan, Philippines. Then I need to go back to this raw data for country. Okay, now I'm interested in at the moment it's all jumbled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just select clear all, just select Haiti data first. Okay, I want the total deaths. So highlight the data, Command C, back onto my interquartile range sheet, Haiti, put that in there, actual country. Now do the same for Japan. A few more, much more data for that one. Back into interquartile range, paste that. You guys can do the others as well. Okay, so once I've got this data, that's the total number of deaths. Oops, wrong data set there for Japan. So let's just undo that. Go back to our original total deaths. I was thinking there was a strange set of numbers. Command C. Copy and paste. Great. So I've got two of them. Two of them there is lots more data for Japan, which is better recording, as well as possibly more events there to be recorded. So now I want to find out for each of these. I can do it at the bottom here, or I can do it in a different one, but I'm going to do it here. I want the range. I want to know for the range. So I'm going to change it. I'm going to need to know the minimum value. Maximum. I can do the range. I'm going to want to know the lower quartile. I'm going to want to know the upper quartile. And I'm going to want to know the interquartile range. Okay. Just a heads up, when we're talking about quartiles, the lower quartile we call kind of quartile 1, and the upper quartile quartile 3. Okay, we need to use that function later. Now, to do this, first of all, really straightforward, a couple of ones first. So I want to do equals because I want to do a formula. I want to do min for minimum. Then I can open brackets. Here's my data set. Close brackets. Hit enter. Okay, and I want to do same thing. So equals max for maximum. Oh, got the wrong bit of data. Don't want that one. Close brackets again. Now I've got the minimum and maximum value in that data set. So calculate the range next. That's straightforward. Equals maximum minus minimum. Enter. Okay, so there's my range. For my lower quartile, equals, again, because I'm doing a formula, quartile. Now, for this, yeah, that's the one I want. Just check. Okay, first one is select my data range. Now, but hasn't worked, and the reason it hasn't worked is I need to give it an extra function. Okay, I want the first quartile. see. So we have to play around a little bit when I need to use my algebra functions. So quartile is the command function I want it to do. Here's the data range, but in order for it to find the kind of first quarter data, so that's why I put in the 1, but I need to get my brackets in the right place. So I've got my open brackets for the first function, and then second set of brackets for data I want. Then I can do the same thing, but this time I'm going to change it for 3 because it'll be the upper quartile. That's what I want. I'll just tell it I want that one. Yes, please. Select my data range. Close off that set of brackets. Remember, this time I want the third, but I need a set of brackets around that as well. Hopefully when I hit enter, there we go. And I can now work out my interquartile range in the same way I did. So I can do my maximum, my upper quartile, minus my lower quartile, enter. Okay, so there's quite a big difference here between the range and the interquartile range. And what that tells me is there's obviously a couple of anomalies or a couple of kind of big events that are changing the overall, because 50% of the data, the majority of the data, lies kind of clustered around our median value, which I'm just going to add that one in here. So to do that, click on the cell here, right click, insert one above, because that's essentially quartile 2, median set of data. And we did this earlier, so it should be a recap, but median data set, close brackets. Okay. And I can see that the vast majority is kind of clustered, 50% is clustered between this set of values, between 13, 102, and around this 32 number. So, now, last little kind of cheat function here. I've done all these calculations. I don't really want to have to do it every time. So what I can do is I can select the data I want with all my formulas I've carefully entered into it. I can highlight it and I can hover my cursor over this bottom right-hand corner, and you see where it changes to a cross. Now, if I was to drag that, so it gives the outline of the next set of cells, what it's going to do is it's going to copy the formulas. So those formulas are now going to be working, but for into these cells, and we'll notice when we drag them across that the data the formula is applied to has also changed. So here it's for this column, whereas in this one, it's for this column. So that's just going to save me huge amounts of time. And the minimum value here in Japan and in Haiti is the same, but what we can see is the maximum value is very, very different, and therefore the range and the is also different. But again, huge difference between the total range and the interquartile range, it tells me, which again suggests there's some kind of a couple of anomalies or outliers which are changing the overall shape of the data. Right, well, good luck in producing your next set of graphs.